Yes, yes. Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning into my channel. It has been a minute. The last video that I posted was about my Whole30 experience on day 20. I'm now coming up on day 50. So I wanted to get up a makeup related video, and I just recently picked up the Nars Radiant Longwear foundation, and I wanted to hop on camera, give you guys my thoughts, test it out on camera, tell you what I think about it. Let's talk about some of the claims. So if you want to see how I apply it and if you want to see my thoughts, make sure you keep on watching. Before you leave, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know if you tried the foundation down in the comment section below, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything else. So my eyes are about halfway done now. This is usually the point in my makeup routine where I go ahead and do my foundation, and then I'll go back and finish up underneath my eyes. So before I go in with foundation, I am actually going in with the Nars Pour and Shine Primer. If you have oily skin, I highly recommend this. If you have drier skin, I believe that they have a hydrating primer as well. So I'm just dotting that on the places where I have a little bit of porridge and the places that I get oily the most. So that's right by my nose, on top of my nose, forehead, and there's still a little bit left on my hand, so I'm just going to spread that out around the rest of my face. And it feels, it has a lotiony texture and a sunscreen type smell. It feels very mattifying, but like a silky smooth mattifying, nothing that's like sticky or dry. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cover up the dark marks that are on my neck right now. And now I'm gonna go in with my foundation. Of course, I'm using the Nars Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation in the shade Caracas. It says that you can get away with using one pump. One pump is mega little, like I'm going to show you one pump on the back of my hand. That's one pump. That ain't doing nothing for me. So I like to go in with about 3. And I'm still going to mix a little bit of yellow in with this foundation, only because this foundation is really red. I need to go back and get one that has a little bit more of a yellow undertone. But I am taking my e.l.f. brush, and I'm just going to start patting that on my face. Now I'm going to go ahead and blend it out. I'm going to go in with one more pump. And now I'm going to go in with a damp beauty blender just to really smooth everything out. And that yellow didn't do what I wanted it to do. I think I may just go get another shade. Now that my blending is completely done, I will say that this foundation is super, 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 super lightweight. Like, I love just the consistency of it. I love that it's not cakey. I love that it's not heavy. I really like the finish because I feel like for people that have oily skin, there aren't too many foundations out there for us that can give you a natural radiant finish without being like, oh, this is sliding off into my lap. So far I really like. I will say that this foundation is definitely a medium but buildable coverage, and I know that's one of the claims that they made. A lot of people are saying that it's full coverage on YouTube, but to me, it's definitely not full coverage. To me, full coverage is like Kat Von D Lock-It foundation. Like, that is full coverage. This one is a medium, which I'm not opposed to. I mean, I usually build my foundations up anyway, but this one is definitely not full coverage right off the bat, but you can build it up to the point where it is full coverage. So definitely medium. definitely lightweight, definitely a nice, light, natural, radiant, just like the title says, a natural, radiant finish. So if you're the kind of person where you don't like the feel of a lot of makeup on your face, but you still want to build it up, especially if you're going to a special event, I think that this foundation is definitely going to be for you. Now, I have worn this foundation before in a couple of different ways. So of course, to hear my thoughts about it and how it wears and whatnot, make sure you stay tuned until the end. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of my face. I am gonna do some highlighting, some contouring. I'm gonna finish up my brows and finish up underneath my eyes, and I will be right back. Okay, so now that my face is completely done, I wanted to hop back on camera and get right down into my thoughts, into some of the claims, into some of the ways that I wore it before versus how I wore it now, and really what I've learned from wearing it some different ways. So let's talk about price first. So this foundation does retail for $49. That is not pocket change, at least for me, but I definitely think that the foundation is worth it, and you will hear just a little bit of my thoughts over the next couple of minutes. But of course, it is one of those, in relation to all the high-end foundations, it is one of those that's not like super high price like the YSL foundation, but it's not super affordable like, for instance, a MAC foundation, which is around just under $30. So it does retail for $49. I purchased my foundation from Nordstrom. You can also get the foundation from Ulta, from Sephora. I believe they have it at other places, maybe like Macy's, Neiman Marcus, other department stores like that. So it is in store. It's not something that you have to solely get online. And definitely, if you want to sample the foundation before you go pick it up, I would recommend going to Sephora and trying out a couple of different shades and seeing which one works for you. Speaking of shades, this foundation does come in 33 shades, which I think is awesome. I think that is very inclusive to skin tones. I think that it's very inclusive for undertones. And of course, my foundation has a bit more of a red undertone, and I probably need to get the shade that has a little bit more of a golden undertone to better suit my skin, or better suit my chest, I should say. But 33 shades I think is amazing. I seriously, like, I know that people keep saying this, but I think that Fenty really set the bar for a lot of these other makeup brands to step it up. Now, whatever happened to the Tarte Shape Tape foundation, I don't know. That's a bunch of foolishness right there, and doesn't have anything to do with me, nor will I even purchase it if they do come out with more foundation shades. But seriously, kudos to Nars for coming out with 33 shades that are really inclusive to skin tones and different undertones. So as far as some of the claims are concerned, I'm going to be reading the claims off of paper. I did take some notes before I started this video, so I'm going to be reading some of the claims off the paper. So they do say that it's a medium buildable coverage. I back that up 100%. Like I said a little bit ago in the video, a lot of people are claiming on YouTube, a lot of beauty bloggers are claiming that this foundation is full coverage. I don't think that it's full coverage. Well, clearly it's not, because they didn't claim that it was, but it's definitely a medium buildable coverage. I think that for a lightweight foundation, that this has very high coverage for a foundation that claims to be lightweight. But is it full? No. Is it medium and has the ability to be built up to full? Absolutely. It also claims to have 16 hours of lightweight, natural, fade resistant wear featuring full powered radiance to smooth the look of the skin. Okay, so that was a mouthful. As far as the 16 hours of wear, yes, definitely 16 hours of wear. I think this is the part where I'm going to talk a little bit about the primer as well. I did try this foundation with a couple of different primers. I tried, when I first sampled the foundation, I did try it with a sample of the Nars Pour and Shine primer. I don't know if that's picking it up on camera, but this primer retails for $36, and this is supposed to be smoothing, pore filling, and mattifying. And I also tried it with the Soap and Glory One Heck of a Blot primer, which claims to do the same thing. This has a little bit of a different consistency to it. And I tried it with one more primer. I believe that it was the Makeup Forever Step 1 Smoothing Primer. So I will say without a doubt, and I hate to be that person that says you have to get the primer that goes with the foundation, but in this case, especially if you have oily skin, get the primer that goes with the foundation. When I wore it with any other primer than this Pour and Shine primer, my face was just like in my lap within hours. I was having a lot of shine within hours. It was breaking up, especially on my nose and right in the crevices of my nose within hours. Now, some people like the look of, you know, a little bit of their shine coming through. I don't mind it, but I don't want to feel it. And I felt like without this primer, I felt the shine. I felt just the foundation breaking up on my nose. I could like just pat the areas that it was starting to either break apart or starting to get oily, and it was just a blotchy mess. I do not recommend using it with any other primer at all. Use it with the Pour and Shine primer, or if you have dry skin, use it with the hydrating primer for the best results. So as far as its long wear claims, yes, it is definitely long wear for me as long as I used it with this primer here. It also says that it gives off radiance, a radiance that smooths the look of the skin. 100% absolutely. I think a lot of the other foundations that I have to make the radiance myself, and this I didn't. I don't have to use a ton of highlighter with it. I don't have to accentuate the parts of my face that I really want to shine through. I think it does a good job of making my skin look healthy and not cakey and not too matte, but still giving me that nice glowy, alive, awake look. It also claims to be transfer resistant and sweat resistant. Now, as far as transfer resistant is concerned, I think that this foundation does a good job. I'm not going to say it's transfer proof, but I do want to emphasize transfer resistant. Just like waterproof and water resistant are two separate things, transfer proof and transfer resistant are also two separate things. This foundation is one of the foundations that I can hug someone and my face isn't on their shirt. Granted, if you come in for the kill, I'm going to sass you and get makeup on your shirt. But with this one, it's just not as much as some of the other foundations that I own. It also says that it stays true to color all day. Absolutely. I have worn this foundation for, I think the longest amount of time that I've worn it for was about 10 hours. And I had no problem getting home and feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm orange, or I'm so red, or this is a completely different color. I think that this foundation did a good job staying true to color. It did not oxidize on me, which is like, oh my gosh, yes, because I feel like a lot of the foundations that are coming out are bomb and they're doing a good job as far as the amount of shades and as far as the coverage and whatnot, but a lot of them are just oxidizing, and that's something that I cannot have, especially because I have golden undertones and I don't have red undertones necessarily, but I have a lot of foundations that have red undertones. But anyway, I am always looking for a foundation that the color that I put it on as, that's the color that I want it to stay as throughout the day. And I think that this did a really good job, or this does a really good job of staying true to the color all day. And it also says that it looks fresh and vibrant all day. I've never had a problem with another foundation looking like stale as it goes throughout the day, or looking like the intensity of it fades. I've never had that. So that's one of those claims that I just expect. Like, I expect my foundation to look fresh all day. So I'm not going to necessarily praise that. I will say that it's true, but I've never had the problem where I'm like, oh, I look so dead by the end of the day. No, it's a foundation. It's supposed to cover up some of those things that look dead on your face. And it also says that it doesn't look or feel cakey or heavy or drying. Yes, yes, and yes. I think because I love full coverage so much, there are some times where I get out of the house and I'm like, whoa, I put way too much product on my face. So it can look cakey, but not with this foundation. I think that it does a good job of being lightweight but still giving good coverage. I also think that it does a good job of making sure that my skin doesn't feel, even though I like matte skin, you know, combined with the primer and combined with the foundation, it doesn't make me feel like it just sucked all the moisture out of my face. So that I definitely love. And then just to wrap it up, of course, it says that it's oil-free, fragrance-free, and non-comedogenic, which is also important. They do say that you should apply it with your fingertips. I do not like messy hands when I'm doing my makeup. I feel like my hands get messy enough just by default when I'm doing it. I don't want that feeling of foundation all over my fingertips when I do my makeup. That's just not, no. I don't like it. So I use a brush and a sponge just like I do with any other foundation. So those are my final thoughts on the Nars Radiant Longwear foundation. I seriously love it. Would I call it a holy grail for me? I don't know. I think it's very close. I think that my holy grail, and this is not something that I've really talked about on my channel, but my holy grail is MAC Studio Fix Fluid Foundation. I don't know. I feel like when I'm in between foundations, that's always the one that I go back to. But I am very much into trying new foundations. But my MAC Studio Fix Fluid is the one that I just always go back to. I know that I can count on it. It works with a lot of different products, which is what I like. And that's one downfall of the Nars foundation, is that because it only works with the primer, I'm kind of like, but I have a full size of the primer, so I'm not too worried about it. But I will say that is very close to a holy grail. This is going to be my foundation that I lean on for pictures. It's going to be the foundation that I lean on for special events, especially just because you're close to people. And when you look at people, or when people look at you, you want them to not see, oh my gosh, you have so much makeup built on your face. Granted, you want them to compliment your makeup, but not in a way that it's like, wow, you have a lot of makeup on. And I think that this foundation does a good job of not making you feel like you have a ton of foundation on your face and really making your skin look nice and smooth. So, of course, before you leave, do not forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Leave me a comment and let me know some of your thoughts on the foundation if you've tried it, and give this video a thumbs up as well. And I will see you in the next video.